Okay, it looks like we're live. So welcome back. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a project by Schooly. Let's see. So it's basically a NoSQL database. It's called Ostrich DB. It's written in Odin, so that's interesting. Yeah. So I've been following it for quite some time. I took a look at it yesterday, and it's really good. I'm really impressed with it. Um, Yeah, and I felt like contributing to it, but first I wanted to read through the code. So I thought I'd do that on stream. And then towards the end, if there's time, I had an idea on something I could contribute, but that might be another stream. We'll see. Yeah, but basically it's a database, right? And there is let's see, I can build it actually to show it. So if I do Odin build main, right? And then I'll run it. Let's see. Yo, Schooly, how you doing? What's up? There we go. Yeah, the ASCII doesn't quite work when it's like that. So username. So actually, I haven't set it up yet, so I'll just do that. And then, yeah, because I forked it and then I pulled that one. So, Stam, what's up? Okay, now I can relaunch it and type that all in. There we go. Okay, so now we're in the command line. I forgot to set that up for the stream. Quad trees, bro. Quad trees. What are quad trees? Heard it, but I don't know what they are exactly. Okay, yeah, I'll look at that. Image compression. Are you doing for image compression, or is it something else? I actually want to read about that. I will save that over here. No. Neighbors. Okay, for the neighbor stuff. Alright. 2D space. W. Yeah, so basically, this doesn't look, that's okay. So, you have like this, REPL. That's what it's called. It's basically a command line, right? And you can type in commands to add things to the database. We could do a new collection. You have to create a collection first. Just call it bar, right? We'll make a new cluster through in collection bar. And then we can fetch, the collection bar. And there it is. So there's the food that we created, and this is the actual collection. SQL vibes. Yeah, well, it's NoSQL, but it's a NoSQL database, but it has its own thing, which is pretty similar to SQL. Yeah, the actual language is not set up yet. That's in the future plans. It's sort of, just like a command line language, right? Yeah, so that's basically how it works. And create records as well. You cannot set the value set. That is in the to-do list, right? The future plans. It's really well documented. I'm quite impressed with that. Schooly is always great at that, and also the organization is good in here. Really impressed with that. That's something I'm not good at all. I always just overlook that, but Schooly is great at that. Yeah. So the let's see, I did leak the link. The documentation is really good, so I figured out how pretty much everything works as I was testing it yesterday, but I did not look into the code. ePortal docs best. True. Wait. Okay, yeah, so I want to look at the code, and alright, I made it invisible, that's fine. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, so I'm on this fork here, because I do plan on contributing to it, but I just want to look at it first. So I haven't really looked into the code at all recently. I did when it first started, but there wasn't a lot there. So you can see there's a lot of stuff. So let's start in the main. Just take a look at this, and then I'll sort of, follow it along to see. So the thing that I wanted to possibly contribute was this. So, because it doesn't seem too hard. I thought about it a bit. It might be a little bit difficult, but where is it? Right here. Command usage history, right? Because I was using it, and I kept pressing the up arrow, and it didn't work, right? Well, this is actually a command. So, yeah, it's like this. Yeah, so something like that. So I thought about different ways that could work. So I might try to contribute that, or maybe something else. Once I get through it, I'll come with an idea. Right, but I thought that could be a cool way to get started. I don't know a whole lot about databases and such, and also no Odin highlighting, so I might use Vim. I don't like the highlighting, but it's fine. It's fine for now. No, wait, for real. Okay, yes, yeah, so basically just initialize things. So core is where most of it is, right? The core. Neither do I, W. But I really, did take a database class, but it was just a short one, and it was SQL, right? Yeah, but I haven't really messed around with it too much. Because I don't like web development, and that's usually when you use it. Yeah, and otherwise I just use a text file for database. W. Okay, let's see. So, yeah, I think I want to look at the core. Right. So this is the all right. So that's the logging. So that's gonna be interesting. I'll look at that. Right. So that logs it when it starts, and then. Okay. Right. So reading the config values. So there is the different values there. Okay. Yeah. So I can open this up actually. I want to exit here. I want to go over here and look at that. But then I want to look in here. So this is where the stuff is stored, like the config and things. I can open that. Yeah, and things are here. It's auto-generated, right, as it says up here. Hopefully you can read. Right. All right. So I want to look at the core. I think that's where I'll start. Core. Engine. Look at the engine first. Let's see. So the parser, right? So that's for like the command line, I would imagine. Starting the engine. Odin. Just want to get an idea of how it works, and then I will think about ways to contribute. So let's see. I also have to refamiliarize myself with Odin because I have not used it in a minute. Yes, for sure, for sure. Okay, so that's the config stuff. So where's that? That's in there. Okay. So that's just finding the config. Okay. Okay, makes sense. Integrity checks. Okay, so that's like backend stuff. All right. So this starts the engine. So config. So I think I might want to look at the config because a lot of stuff calls to that. Calls to things in there, right? Right. I'm getting thrown off by the no semicolons because I'm used to those. Because this looks like C, you know. Yeah, so session timer. Alright. So there's a timer, that's interesting. Have this problem? I don't know where to start reading from. Yeah. I do as well. I'll figure it out though. I need to look over the whole thing and understand how all of it works. So most is gonna be reading. I'm not gonna write a lot of code, at least for a minute. Let's see. So user sign in. Right. So that's where it signs in at. So right, I want to look at that. So where is that in here? No. Right. Oh, that is right here. Okay, I just went over it. Did I look at this already? Oh, that's this. Wait, what? Calls to itself. Professional JavaScript full stack Next.js web developer. Yes, just web dev. We don't say developer here. It triggers the imposter syndrome. No. Okay. Web dev, yes. Okay. Right, I'm trying to understand. So it just calls that again, basically. Alright, I see. Okay, yeah, I think I gotta look at. Ooh, this is okay. Welcome to the. Yes, this is when it starts. All right, so that's more interesting, right? Skipping over the login system. Front-end web dev nerd. True. That's what. Never mind. It's gonna make a Theo joke, but I will not. Okay. Log runtime. Yes. Let me open up just over here. I can open the config because I feel like, or the config or the log. I'll look at the log. Logging, right? Because there's a few calls here. I want to see. Like you can infer what they mean, but I think it's useful regardless. Okay. Log runtime event, right? So that. Right. So we have a string, the event name, and the description. So. Right. So what does that look like? I want to actually run that, and then sign in again. If statements were a mistake, true. Variables were a mistake. Functions were a mistake. True, very true. Mm-hmm. All right. What was that? So what is it like? It likes enter the command line. Mm. Right. So that's like in the logs, right? Writes it to a log file. Right. Okay, and it has the time. All right. So that's what the timer is for, I would imagine. Let's see. Where does it? Should have some stuff in the log file already. Okay. Let's see where the log file is at. Logs. There we go. Okay. Runtime log. Okay, I see. I see. Who is your follower? W? Yeah, yeah. Okay, found it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I have a few. Oh, yeah. So they can. Okay, I like that. That's useful. That's useful. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, this is a nice log system. So let's see. This is the one that was triggered here. I see. Okay, very cool. Very cool. All right, so that's what that is. So that is understood now. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah. All right. Cool. Cool. On GitHub, W, and on Twitch as well. W. Log extension. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. So command line. All right. So here's the buffer of the command. Okay. Right. So I was wondering how this worked. So when you enter the command, how that works. So we print the tab, and then we read from there. Okay. And you add that to the command, right? Trim right. All right. That makes sense. All right, so I'll need to look at this parse command, and then execute command as well. Okay, right. So that is going to be important for this if I was to implement this. So yeah, there's sort of two things here. So I'll get to that. But yeah, I was wondering how that worked. Right, that makes sense. This was an error. If input success. Right. So what does this return? All right. Right. It's two things. Right. I forgot. It's like go. Don't stream though. L. You should stream. You should stream. Stam. Okay. Let's see. Getting distracted. So input. Right. So that just removes the white space, right? Hello. How you doing? Is that pronounced captcha? Captcha. I don't know how to pronounce it. I apologize. Schooling is two alt accounts. Nice. Okay, let's look at the parse command. I want to put like can do that. Look at the parse command. Right, so I'll remember that's at about 100. And I want to see how that works. So where is that? Is it not in here? Alright, doesn't seem to be. So I can search for it. Alright, great. I think it's in here, so grep. Okay, there we go. So it's in the parser. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, parser Odin. All right. Strip stir 3. Does that do the same thing? I'm not going to change it, but yeah, Schoolie could consider that. Let's see. So is it right? All right, parser. Yes, there we go. Parse command. Okay, yeah. So this is okay. It's not too long actually. Best website, true. Let's see, capital input. Like here. To I want to go back to where it was at, so that I can, yeah, so right here, so I can go back and forth. So, all right, so it puts everything in uppercase. That makes sense. That makes sense. So, capitalization doesn't matter. Split each one. Okay. Right, so I don't. These are maps. That's interesting. So I'll need to come back to that. Then if the length of tokens is 0, then return the command. Okay. Right. Then for each token, uppercase, right? And then switch over the state. All right. Let's go to the types and look at the command. I guess I could use tabs in Vim, but I don't know how to do that. Used to Kano. It's fine. I will use tmux. Yeah, types. There we go. I'll look at the command type. Okay. Action token, object token, target token. Okay, that makes sense. Modifier token and scope token. Alright. I see. Object token, modifier token, and S was scope token. Okay. Right, so you just make a new, they're all maps. These are strings. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Strings and then maps. Okay. So these need to be initialized. That's why they like that, I would imagine. And the A token is the first string. Okay, right, because it splits. So that's the action token. So that is like the initial thing. Let me just look at this. So that's like this, right? And then you write it over this. So if it's none, then you just have the action token, right? So for like single ones, like help or version, yeah. Version's better because. Okay, so then state is 0. Right, so how does the state get set? Okay, it gets set in there. So for different things. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. Help atoms, okay. That. Ooh, okay. Alright, very cool. So version is single, right? Single or multi for help, single. Okay. Then actions, targets, I see. Okay, that makes sense. Which is the right. So yeah, I know what they do. Okay, that's good. So the actions all have a type, and then the rest of them do not. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So cool. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. Very cool. Again with the documentation built in. Very cool. That's the target token, right? That gets set. And then I imagine it checks that it's valid after, like during the execution. Okay. Ooh, so here it checks if it's valid modifier, right? In the modifier, so let's look at that. 2 is a modifier, okay. And then so it's object or modifier. Okay, so if it's not a modifier, then it is an object. Okay. And then it's an object after the modifier. Okay, I see. So it's sort of, yeah, that makes sense. Then go back to 1, and it goes here inside that modifier and object. Okay. I see. And to the O token, which is the, okay, so that's like an dynamic array. I see. So this one's not a map. I misread it. Yeah. So dynamic array. Okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay, so let's go to the. Let's go back to. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. I pressed the wrong key. Okay, so we do that parse command, and then we execute the command. So that execute command might be. Okay, it's not in there, so I will just grep so I can quit this one. Whoops. Okay, it's in command. Alright, I guess I could have just looked at that. Okay. Execute command right here. Perfect. Right. So this is an error. What is this? What does this mean? I don't know what that means exactly. like with the hashtag on it. Alright, but that's just creating an error, so that's not super important. Returns a string of, ooh, okay, I see. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And switch over this, yeah, okay, it just checks what they are. Right, okay. Yeah, the name of the pro, yeah, I got it. Super useful for learning. The name of the pro, true. Alright, this is a big thing, so I'll go through that. Right, so all the different things are handled here, so that makes sense. Fetch, right. And just execute it, I would imagine. I just want to go to the bottom. Okay, and this is invalid one. Alright, cool. Okay. Right, so that's just, that is error stuff. And then, yeah, so we switch over to, whoops. So version, so that just prints out the version, right? That's pretty simple. Exit, exits. Okay, there is a function for that. Log out. Right. Then just logs out, doesn't exit. Okay. Unfocus, so that is, unfocus is for, yeah, okay. So that's like you focus and that affects the scope. Yeah, or the context. Okay. Clear, right, that's called to libc, nice. Help prints out the help stuff. So let's go to the, I want to go to new. Let's look at new, okay, right here. So use the new command and then switch over the t token, which is the object one. Okay, object token. So if it's collection, that's that. And then how many other ones are there? There's another switch statement in here. Okay. Right. What if it's not? It's a cluster. Right. Okay. So it just handles different things based on that. Record. Nesting. Yes, for real. Right. And that's all the new ones you can make, right? Yeah, and otherwise it prints out that. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so let's go up here. So create a new collection, right? So that is like the highest level one, right? That contains the other things. So you have a collection and then a cluster and then the records. Okay. Checks if it exists already. And okay. Why is it a switch statement? If it's a boolean. I don't understand that exactly. But okay. So print creating collection, right? So if it does not, if it does exist, then we have, yeah, it already exists. Okay. And then also a log. All right. And then if it does not exist, then we do this. That makes sense to handle that first. So create collection. So we'll need to look at that, but we'll come back. We can infer what that means, right? For now. And if it's successful, then we print that successfully, and then otherwise, yeah, print an error. Okay, that makes sense. So what is this? If it's greater than 0, otherwise we print an error because there's not enough stuff. Okay, that makes sense then. Yeah, so I'll look at this in a moment. I want to go through the rest of these. So if the length is equal to 2, and within is in there, okay. Then we get the cluster name, the collection name, creating that. Generate cluster ID. Okay, so there's an ID for each one, so I can do that by fetching. What is it? Fetch collection. Right, and there's the ID, right? Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Generates that, and then the result. Now there's water running, sorry about that. Create cluster from collection, right? Okay. Switch result. So, cluster with name already exists. Okay. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Ooh, you can do that? That's kind of cool. Did not know that. New error. Right, so that's just the error thing, and then throw the error. Okay, otherwise. Connect object. Then metadata stuff. Alright, so we'll get back to what that means. Otherwise, what was this if statement? Yeah, otherwise there's an error because it's not incomplete command, right? That makes sense. And then the record actually has the most stuff, it looks like. Really, you can do that. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, Odin's pretty cool. Can you do that in like Go? I don't know that I've seen that before. But I also don't use a lot of languages. Okay. So record, right, so we do that, and then we check that to ensure the command is correct. Okay, set record name, and then set record type. Okay, whoops. So we have the name and type. And then if it wrote 0, then it creates the record. Otherwise, it will just print an error, I would assume. So get the collection names. Okay, so that gets that. Interesting. So I'll need to look at this function as well. File path, okay. Collection path. Alright, so that's like those things. Global constants, okay. And record to cluster. Okay, so that adds the record to the cluster with all of those. And that writes it to the file then, to the database, right? Falling in love with recursion. Nice. Yeah, recursion's pretty cool. It's a cool concept. Okay, let's see. So if it's successful, then we print that and we concatenate the object. Right, so I don't know what this does exactly. So I'll need to look at that one. And then the metadata stuff. Okay. Otherwise, there's errors. Okay, that makes sense. Self-optimizing, nice. W, love recursion. Okay, yes, that's all the new stuff. So that makes sense. Let's go to the different things. Let's look at create collection. So that's in data. Let's see where I want to do that. I don't know. I want to text that one, but that's okay. So data in there. Engine data. Okay, I see. So, alright, yeah, that makes sense. So let's look at create collection. Okay, so this adds it to the file, right? Okay. There's a lot of stuff, you know, it's very big. But it makes sense. Yeah, and the comments and stuff, very nice. Returns a boolean. Right, so let's go back to this. So yeah, returns the success. Oops. Okay. So we passed the token, right? So that's the collection. Is that? So O is what? The target token. Okay. And then what is the number for? Collection type. Okay. Interesting. So what does that mean? Type of file to create. 0 standard, 1 is secure. Ooh, okay, I see. Interesting. Path and name. Right, and then switch over the collection type. So 0, so that's what we pass here every time. Concatenate. Right, strings concatenate. Collection path to file name. I see, because we passed the file name. Okay. Alright, so if that fails, we return false. Okay, path name extension. So we concatenate the file extension, path and name. Alright, and this creates the file, okay. Then if it is not successful, error, that makes sense, and then that's it, okay. Typo in those comments. Object token is just the name of a target. The T token is the target. Okay, I see. R token is the name of the target. The T token is the target. Right. Okay, that makes sense. I see. Okay. I don't have anything. Oh, it's here. Yeah. Okay, so target, yeah. Okay. Here it is. Yeah, so then what? Secure file, I'm not gonna look at that now. And that's it. That's it for here. So then we return true at the end. Makes sense. Okay. Right. This erase the collection, I'm not gonna look at that yet. Check if collection exists, so that just open that, and then we read it, and if any of the collection names it equals reading it, then return true. This is okay, so it's if it's a secure file, right? Rename collections, that is fine. Fetch collection, okay, so that'll be interesting. We'll get there. And there's that is all. Right. And so let's go to clusters. Let's look at clusters, and then generate cluster ID. So is it just, yeah, it's just random. Right, and make sure it doesn't exist already. Okay, cool. Get all the IDs. I want to look at creating one. Create a cluster block. Okay, and do we call that in here? Let's see, cluster. Cluster ID. Do that. Right, so yeah, so let's look at this one. Create a cluster from CL. Okay. From the command line. Okay, that makes sense. That's what CL is, I see. So yeah, we have BRB. Alright. Collection name, cluster name, and then the ID. Okay. Whoops. Check if cluster exists, right? Makes sense. Okay, first half. So this is what it writes to the file, right? Opens the file, and then first closing the file, that makes sense. If stam allows. Nice. Right, so that's error, so if it cannot open the file, otherwise, we iterate over first half. So what is this? Place that with the cluster name. Oh, first half, so is the cluster name. Right, I'll need to come back to that. I don't know exactly what that means. Step 2, iterate over the first half array. Replace that with the cluster. Right, so set the cluster ID. Okay. So I'll come back to that. New cluster name. So why is it a new one? I don't. First half is this. I want to look at the actual file that is generated here. Can I do that? Oh, schedule. That's the longest time, that's fine. Then, I need to look at the actual file. I think I have to BRB also. Yeah, I'll be right back. I have to go to the bathroom. Okay, I'm back now. To TypeScript coding, true. Okay. Uh, let's see. Where was I at? Yeah, I was looking at the. Where is it? Let me look at here. The file, the actual file that we open. Collection path. Let me look. Yeah, I'm gonna look at collection path and the file extension doesn't matter. Uh, go constants. Collection path is bin collections. Okay, that makes sense. Is that what I was saying? What's in there? Right. Okay, so that is where I stored. I see. So this is it. Quite literally. So let me add another one. Right. Put out of this, and then add another. So we'll make a new cluster. Right, and the name was bar. Okay, that makes sense. So there's a new file for each collection, right? Let's new cluster. Let's see, what's the how's it work again? New cluster, and then yeah, the name. 32. I think I can do that. Within collection. And then I want to open the file. Where is the file? Okay, now this just looks like that. Okay, that's how it's added. And let's make a new record within cluster food. I can do this. Okay, just new record. That's yeah, and then it comes up with prompts. Forgot about that. I'll type it. Sure. It's like the collection. So we want a bar and then food. Okay, let's go back here. Exit and open it again, so it creates it like that. Okay, and that's actually quite literally how it prints out as well. So fetch collection bar. Yeah, and it just prints out literally what's in here. Okay, cool. That's pretty simple. Pretty simple. This is not a secure one though, right? So I don't know if that's implemented yet necessarily. Secure. Yeah, alright, so that. Right, because it is still work in progress. It's quite early in development still. But yeah. So it has the dates and the version. So this is actually, I'm using the other version, but that's not updated. The pre-release dev, let's see, it's called this. Yeah, 0.3.1. Okay, so that's how that, right, so that's actually pretty straightforward. What was I looking at? It wasn't here. That creates the cluster. Okay. And then, so it does this. Place first half. First half I. So it's an array of strings, right? With the cluster name. Ooh, okay, I see. So it does that. And then write cluster name. Okay. That's what that does. And yeah, writes it to the file. Right. I guess you have to do this to write it, so that's interesting. Because that's what it accepts. Right, and the last half is what? So cluster ID and then identifier. Right, and you replace that. This is more complicated. Alright, but that makes sense. So there's array stuff, which we'll get to that as well. I kind of want to go back to the input, right? The input from the users. That was in that was engine. And where was it at? It was. So that starts the engine. After you logged in, and it goes here, right? And I just wanted to. So this, right? So I'm thinking. I can implement it. I want to think about how it works. So that issue I was showing, right? Let's go here. I think that was the issue. All right, so this one, so I'm gonna ignore the command part. I will get to that. or by getting the user's keyboard input when they use the up arrow key, right? So basically you just would have an array of strings similar to that, where you would store each command, and then you could just press the up arrow and that would go and grab the command and also display it, and then any other input you would have to add to it, right? So how that would work, because this just reads from the standard in, so that's right. I don't know how it would work exactly, because really you need to append to it, but also if you modify from the middle, it's going to be different. So I don't know exactly, right? It's hard to do with these CLI applications that aren't like two ways. Because once you do that, it's basically like yeah, stores them from the parser, right? But the thing is, this parser's already right, yeah. But the thing when you have it there, you type something, right, and then you press up, and we'll say this was the previous command. Then I guess you can't really do the side arrows to modify that, but then it needs to append to it basically the next thing. So yeah, there is no way to do that. Right, I was trying to think of, when you read it, you would want to append that to the existing buffer, right? So basically, could do it in the parser. Yeah, you could save it there, but then when you type a new thing, you have to append that as well. That's just what I am thinking, right? Since you can't use the side arrows, I'm just gonna ignore that for now. Right, because to do that, you might have to like use some two-way thing and make it like a two-way instead of a CLI. But I don't know exactly because I don't make a lot of CLI things, so I'm not sure. But yeah, if you're just appending it, you could do that. So if you set it when you press the up arrow, you set the current existing one to that, to whatever the previous one was, and you sort of go like you have the pointer to it. Right, you have the array. I'm trying to think. You have the array of strings, which are all the history, and then you have the it has the size, but then you also have a pointer to whichever the most recent one is. So it would point right above it, usually, and then you press the up arrow and it would move down, and that would be the one that you display. The actual thing and the actual thing, true. Did I say that? Okay. And you're pointing at that, and then that would be displayed. And that's also what the current buffer would get set to. So that'd be interesting how that would be handled. But then this, you could still read it, and you just append it to the buffer. Right, how is it set here? Right, so it reads it there. So how does that work? Well, you need to read it into... Well, you could set the buffer and then read into it as well. So if you have the buffer be that, and then you just append it to, like, instead of using the buffer as that, you have a global thing, which is the current command. And then you read it to the buffer and you append the buffer to whatever the current command is. So normally it'd be nothing, but if you press the up arrow, then it's set to something, right? Because then you could just continue using it like this. Just instead of buffer, you'd have the variable. I think that could work. Yeah, but I'm not going to do it yet. I want to read through it more, but I just wanted to think about that. Right, yeah, and you still do this, and then the input, yeah, the input, so that'd be the same. It'd just be this would be different. This can still read into the buffer, but then, yeah, so at the start, we don't actually have to do that. You wanted to contribute to this issue because you would have terrible time working on it alone. Yeah. I think it's probably like the best issue that I can contribute to, because that's something like the database stuff. Like the actual, writing to the database, encrypting, all that stuff, I'm not good at. Yeah, but I think that would work. I think that would work. So I'm not sure. Right, you have the global thing, which is the history. And you also have the current command. You have the current command, and then start the buffer. Because you need the buffer, right? The buffer regardless. That's what you read into without disrupting the current command. And then use the append to it. So can you do, right, like concatenating strings in Odin? Can you just do plus? I don't know if that works. But either way, we can just strings.concat, right? That's the thing. I'm not sure. I don't remember Odin exactly, but yeah. Something like that. You just concatenate to it. And then at the end, like after the execution, you just reset the current command to be empty. Should probably be a dynamic array though. Don't know. Right. Also need to. Yeah, it'll be something like that. Let me go back to. I want to look at the array stuff now. Let's see. What have I looked at so far? This is the wrong thing. Let's go over here. So the engine, right? That's really help const config. I haven't looked at the config. I want to take a look at that. I'll take a look at that first. I don't think it's too much. Right. Just for the okay, storage lines. So this is if the config file exists, then or does not exist. Create the config file. So that's here. So I'll look at that first. Why should this check if it exists? So it just looks at that. Right. Where is the dir? Oh, okay, I see. Right. Okay, it just looks for ostrich.config, which is this file right here. So that makes sense. Then we create the file here. So it doesn't exist, we create the file. And that config path. Use that here. Okay. Yeah. Open that. Wait, so that's the bin one, right? What is that? In the console. What do I have? It's here. Alright, it's this. So it's the bin with that. Okay. Makes sense. Now I'm lost. I need to name these. Yeah, I still would be useful. That's not going to do that. Now it's broken. What the heck? How do you do this? I don't know what this pop-up page is. We can mark? No, can't do anything. Oh, it marks this tab. Okay. I see. Yeah, rename window. That's what I wanted to do. I was pressing shift. The muscle memory is not helping. Okay, this is the config stuff. So that way I can. I didn't want to mark it though. How do you unmark it? There we go. Okay, that's useful. I didn't know you could do that. I'm not very good with tmux, but that's cool. Yes, but config. So I need to start naming windows because I always forget to do that. Yeah, so we just create the file, right? Open that. Right, there's two opens. So this opens config path. Let me close. Why is there this twice? I don't know if that's an issue. Not sure, but I'll come back to that. There might be a reason for it. So then the message, right? And we open this the same way. Then to further close, that makes sense. And then write to it the message and what is config header, and that is in here. This is okay, yeah, right here. So that makes sense. That is the message that was there, and I don't have the config open, do I? Well, that's what it is. So yes, I noticed that. So that makes sense. Then it's not set open an error, and it finds all the configs. Okay. That is interesting how that works. I'll look at that. And then if they are not found, okay, just set the config to defaults. All right. Let me look at this find all configs. And this is, okay, so that's like variadic arguments. All right. Or something like that. What is this? Maybe it's not like that. Hang on. Is that what that is? I'll need to look at that. But it's something like that, so you can pass multiple of them. It's like an array. Interesting. And for each one, not find the config, then return false. Okay. I'm going to look at the find config then. That takes a string, and it, yeah, basically just tries to read it, right? That makes sense. That's pretty intuitive. Read the values so that, yeah, I can guess how that works. I don't need to necessarily know exactly how it works, as long as I understand the theory, right? Toggle config, so yeah, true or false, makes sense. And let's see, so, right. Logging, simple, so what else is there besides simple for logging? Of course, of course. Where is there nothing besides simple right now? Oh, verbose? Is that what it would be? Simple and verbose. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure if other ones are supported yet, so that might be not want to change that. Okay. So that's the comic stuff. That makes sense. I get the idea. So let me go back to the engine, and I want to look at what are the commands we have. So we have what? It's like these, they're pretty, well, maybe I want to look at the scope stuff. That could be interesting. Right, or the context stuff. Same thing, right? Fetch. Right, and these I can pretty much guess how they work, mostly. Right, I might look at the help, because there's a lot of stuff. Right, a lot of stuff to handle there. So I want to look at that as well, the multi-line help. Right. Yeah. So the new, I get that pretty much. These stuff I can infer, right? So yeah, let's look at the focus command. So focus. What is this? I see the command. Right. Okay. Is it always like that? Right, so it's different when you're in focus mode. I'll need to look at that. Where is the focus? Do that. Do that one. Okay. Right, to do. So the focus might not be. Look, so focus. Yeah, you can focus on a certain cluster and things like that, and then the things that get created are focused there. That could get complex. A lot of stuff to do that. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, use focus command, right? And then if it's a collection, check if it exists. Print that it exists as well. So do I focus? You do collection, get collection. Whoops. I tried to scroll. Focus mode is on. Now using focus mode. Focusing. Okay. So it changes to focus mode. So if that changes how things are handled. Then new record in cluster Don't know that it works. Might not be complete because it's not out. What if I just do? So that does fetch collection. It cannot fetch while folks. Okay, that makes sense. We can fetch cluster. Oh wait, new record. I don't know, right? It's not focused on that, so that's not gonna work actually. New record s2 in. Yeah, so it doesn't seem to do that. So there might be some issues with that. That's okay. Unfocus. Right. Alright, so it is like an entirely different, basically a whole nother thing. So that's interesting. Okay. And if it doesn't, it's just put in there. Okay. What is it? So if right, and that does that. So there's an issue with that. Yeah, there seems to be a few issues with that. Watch on the right hand. It is mirrored. It is on the left hand. It's my right hand. I have it on my left. Whoops, I bumped it. Password is incorrect. My bad. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so I might come back to that because that must not be fully implemented. That might be in the issues even. That web app. Ooh, interesting. Hey, I don't want to read that. Benefit. Web app. JavaScript mentioned. Well, it's having a central location for documentation, right? That could be cool. I'm not going to do that though. I don't like web stuff. Yes, it is mirrored. Yes, I mirrored it because reasons. Don't worry about it. Focus. Yeah, so there's nothing in there, but yeah, it might not be working fully. I don't know exactly. Security, true. That is why. All right, yeah. So I will. I want to look at the array stuff. Or do I want to? I might want to try to do that. Let me look at the cons. Right. So we have cons. Let's see. So let's actually go to the parse. Let me go to the parsing part. Let me rename this. Parser. And I want to. So when we parse the command, we just pass the input in there. So I don't want to save it here. I think I just want to save it once it reads, right? So read it and then save that as the most recent command. So we need some global variable. Yeah, so let's actually go. So that's what we'll look at. Let's go down here again. So once you read this, after it's successful, we don't even need to trim it really because we can just call this after. So we'll have a like a current command. We'll go with that. I want to make sure the style is consistent, right? And we just want to equals strings dot cat, right? So I don't know exactly how you do this, but command with the buffer, no semicolon. Concatenate those, right? So we'll just dimension this like a global variable. I'm just thinking here. Concatenate that. And the current command would be set, right? So where would you read that? So if you press the up arrow, you need to detect that. So how would you do that? So actually, I'm not sure if you can do that. Right, I don't know how that would work. Because this reads, right, this reads it, but that reads from standard in, not necessarily detecting a key press. Uh, so what if we have, right, let me just try to make, instead of that, I'll make the history command, right? I don't know if he wants me to do that now. But I could at least get started on it. Let me make a new branch, actually. Okay. And I can, yeah. Let me think. So it needs to be, we'll have a global array. So where would that be stored necessarily? I don't know exactly. I want to make sure it's good. But basically, we can just append to that, and then when you type the history command, it can just print out the whole thing, the whole list. And just can append it here, right? So after you do that, I guess we could append. Right? So basically append. I don't remember the syntax, but it's like append to the history. Just append input, right? That would be okay. That's pretty much it here, right? And then we just have that. You just print out the whole thing. So you loop over the list and you print out each command, and that's it. That's printing in the opposite order, though, right? I don't know. I might wait to do this for the next stream, but I want to brainstorm it. Right. And where would that be? So it needs to be. It's not in the const. Let's put that. And let's see. So in the commands is where you would execute. You would execute that, and that would loop over that. You don't really want to pass it, right? But yeah, you'd have const.history, and that'd be all that you need to do for the history part. But yeah, obviously it gets more complex when you deal with treating it as though it's like a command line, right? So I'm not sure you can do that. Not really that, but detect arrow key. But I don't know how you can do that exactly. It's not Odin. What is this? Why is it JavaScript? Let me go to Odin. Right, Odin line. Overview. Is there something here for, like, without a package? I don't want to bring in a package, but input. So that's not it. Right, so that's not. I need to detect a key press, basically. And you'd have to check that first. That'd be in the wrong thing now. It's named incorrectly. But you detect, before you do that, you just read it. Read the, actually, I don't know. Right. Yeah, you might have to actually change the whole system to do that. Basically make it a TUI, right? That's how I would know how to do that. For if, that's kind of cool. True. Key. So this is like map stuff. That's not what I want. Keyboard. That's not gonna be. By the way, the word ches is so useful. And what is that? What is the word? Ches. Also flashbangs on. At the house up. Linear width. Your friend. Okay, I see. That's a lot. Like at his house. Yeah, I see. Cool. That's a lot of data packed into a single word. Very cool. Mm, let's see. So go back. Mm, right. Means you're at your own home. Yes. So you're with yourself. Right. So this might have to be deferred because I need to read on. What is this? Odin? Odin Godot? Flashbang. Why is it Odin? Oh, it's somebody named Odin. Okay. Mm. All right, right here. Create your own input library. Right. So I might need to do that. Yeah. So I'll need to like I don't want to bring in necessarily a separate thing like end curses or whatever because then you could detect that, but you kind of have to change a lot. So I'll need to read on that and also ask school about it. Right. Because I'm not sure necessarily how you do that otherwise. Like, it's just a CLI. Could you do that without bringing in TUI things? Not sure. Right, but where would it be? I still want to figure that out. Where would I store it? I do have libc, so I don't want to do it like that. Like, I would bring in the library if I was going to make it a TUI, because otherwise you have to handle a lot. For cross-platform and things like that. Yeah, but that might be required for other things as well. Like if you want to be able to go left and right, you would want that. I should look at the metadata stuff, perhaps. That's not what I want. Non-cons by global. Yeah, so it'd go there, right? Can I put it here? Right. So just I'm not gonna try to immerse this yet, but I will. I have the command history, so actually I'll do it like that. Go back to the ending file. Command history, basically, and so this would be equal dynamic of strings, right? String that. Not do that. Append. So you can't just append like that. So how do you do that? Well, I can just open, yeah, the overview. Let's go to. Right, so pointer to it. Can I do that? Right, it might have some other issues as well. But a type in this context it is ambiguous. Yeah, so I just want to change that how that is initialized. So do it like that. Just like that, basically. So it is dynamic. It doesn't let me do that. Append element. How to our DMs for a minute. What does that mean? Go. Okay, I see. I see. Okay. On Discord, I would assume. Let's see, right here, Stan. Yo, that's pretty cool. Right here, this is what I was sent. Does this have to do with the quad tree stuff you were doing? Quad trees, I see. Okay. W. So then you have interesting. So every rectangle split into 4 quadrants. Yes. 4 quadrants. And then the bottom left, there's 4 quadrants as well. I don't know what this would be though. Then the top right, then the top left, then the bottom left, then the bottom right, then the bottom left, then the top left. When a cell is filled with X or more objects, it is split. Okay. The X is defined experimentally. Okay. And it's a tree, obviously, yes. So the next layer is 8 or something right now. Could make it 800. Right, and then just goes, that makes sense, it goes forever. Going up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it does look like 8. But not needed. Right. Quantities are kind of clean. This looks very cool. I do have this this article open over here. I might read that. This stuff is tough as duck. Real. When the objects are dynamic, right? Is it on GitHub? Or have you not opened it? So this is part of... Alright, there is nothing that you've pushed in the last 2 days. Not yet, okay. Wait, is it part of the spatial hashing thing you were doing? Or is it like a new project? And is it related to ePortal? Making it have a ton of objects with glitches and stuff, just a sandbox for experiments. Right, okay. For ePortal, you haven't found a use case. Okay. Will be compared to spatial hashing. Alright. 5. You'll compare the speeds of regular spatial hashing and this dynamic variation of it. Alright. Very cool. And I'm gonna make a video on this. Okay, that succeeded, but can I just do it? Okay. Then it does work. Okay. Yes, next one. Alright, W. And that goes out next week. Yes, we don't have history command right now. But I just want to, I'll just print out. Right, I'll just loop over. So 4. Trees parsing is kind of tough though for the computer. Just slow. Yeah. Next week, Sunday. You don't know. Alright, W. Nice. I will be awaiting that. history. Then you just do that. Yeah, let's see. Right, so it does. Oh, it does change that though. Why does it do this? That is weird. What? Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, that is strange. Stealing it from here. Let's see. Quad tree versus spatial partitioning. Ooh. This, right? Now it's gone. There we go. With this. Ooh. I see. Spatial hashing is basically the same as hashing. The same as this, spatial partitioning. What is up with the scroll bar? Why does it look like that? Spatial partitioning, yeah. Very cool. Yeah, same thing. Double. Source code. So you took it. Are you copying the source code or just the idea of it? Very cool. Watch how it goes. Oh shoot, now it's gone. Hang on. Hang on. Not copying, just inspired. Okay. Okay, very cool. There is no sound, so I'm not going to turn the sound on. Ooh. Bitrate kind of dies. That looks pretty cool. Also, it's going really fast. Sorry. Hang on. A lot of objects. This is pretty cool. Also, this. What's this? Alright, from the same person. Okay, cool. So yours is gonna be like this. You're gonna have dragging around and stuff. It's pretty cool. Yes. W. Very cool. Quadrant depth isn't that great. Too shallow. That looks really cool. Looks good, by the way, from the visual point. Yes, it does. Yes, indeed. Let's do that. We don't make. Do I have to do that? How do you do that? Make let's see. Make string. I don't know what that means exactly. Or it could be something else. Next. That's not it. Alright. Okay. append to it the input for each one. There's a lot of stuff you can do here. I don't want to part from it though, I just want to iterate over it. Can you just print the array? What if I do that? Oops, that's not what I wanted. Yes. Yeah, it does do that. So why does it do that? Is this something to do with the trim? What if I do it before that? Oh shoot, wait. And that. This is, yeah, it's bytes. So what if I just do string above? No. Yeah, so I think I need to do the same thing as this, right? So that specifies the signs. There we go, okay. Yeah, and it still does that. Don't get why exactly. Actually. Oh shoot, is it because we need to copy the string? That's why. That makes sense. So we need to like create a allocate. We need to allocate the string. How can we do that? Copy. We go. Yeah, copy. Hang on. Let's see. No. Strings. Let's go to strings. Strings.join. Can I look at this? String.clone. Right, so you might have to free it. Okay, so that works. Right, so I'm just putting it out like this, but you can iterate over it like how I was doing before. So then new collection, and we'll call it RT. W? Yes, we got it. Yeah, so it does that, and it saves the command. I think we want to strip it though. Do it after that, and we can do strings.clone input. And that's what we use instead of this. New. Right, so we won't save the previous ones, but I don't think we need to save that. So new collection bar, and then we can do new cluster 3 in collection. Yeah, and then it saves all of them, and they're already stripped and everything. So then, right, so if we had a way to detect the up arrow, we could just basically move along these. Like, we'd have a variable that keeps track of whichever one we're pointing at, and then move along there. And also when we append it, though, we want to append from that point rather than from the top one, like how we're doing now. So really be an injection. Right, but then we need to grow it. So it's going to be a bit different, but that's sort of the idea, right? And there could be a history command, and that prints out basically each one. So print it out like this. I need to talk to school before I do this, but so basically I can print out the command. And this is index. So we have that, and then we don't print the new line, so I need to do that. But with a new line, there we go. Each one will have that. Right, so it'd be something like this, like how he described in the issue. Right, this one. So we said history command, which would result in a wall of text, or by getting the user's keyboard input. Right, so I need to look into how that would work. Because I think that'd be the ideal way to have it. Right, and then the history command could also put like previous one, and then you could just press the number, and that would be the one that you want to do, right? So I'm going to see how exactly he wants that. But then solve that, and a new cluster 2, 3, 4 in collection, fetch collection. Yeah, and then we have all of the previous ones, and just can grow indefinitely, really. Yeah, that's all that. Okay, yeah, so that's basically how that would work. I gotta go in a minute. Yeah, so that'd probably be, I could look into it before the next stream, and the next stream I could try to implement both the history command as well as arrow keys, right? At least up and down. Bruh, for real. Yeah, that works. Right, and yeah, so the history would output this, and then maybe prompt you to press a key to re-execute that command. Right, I would assume that's what he would mean by this. Yeah, exactly, shows me, yeah. Something like that. That could work. Yeah, so that's basically just, what's the diff? So I didn't change very much, right? I just added that. So I'm not gonna commit anything, as I'm saying. Let's see, so we append to that. After we do that, oops. And we iterate over the new thing. And we print that. Right, we don't want to actually do this each time, so that'd be like print command. I'll leave it there. Yo, Schoolie, what's up? So, this is, I was messing around, and I created a new global. I put it in the, oops, put it in the const, here. So just a dynamic array of strings, right? And then whenever you type a command, we just append the trimmed version of it. Let's see, we append that, and then right now it's just looping over and printing that out, so it looks like this. If I run it, right, so whenever you type a command, it just appends to the history. So in cluster, like that, and it just, you have the different commands. So I was thinking, looking at this, a history command could be, you type out history, and then it displays this kind of thing. And then you could have like a prompt that says, basically type the number or whatever of the command that you want to repeat, something like that. That idea. Yeah, I'm not going to commit anything yet because I do want to ask you some questions before I do that, which I'll probably send to you on Discord or on here. right, on GitHub. But yeah, it looks something like that. So what do you think of that for the history command? Was there something else you had in mind? And the up arrow and down arrow keys, that's going to be a bit different to handle. So I'll need to research that. That's it. All right, perfect. Probably want to start it from 1, though. Just because it's how you would normally see it, right? And we just display that, and then, yeah, if it fills the screen, though, so it needs to be a set number of rows. And then, like, you just press enter, like how you would with certain shell commands. Yeah, so that's the idea I have. Yeah, but I cannot do that today because I have to go. But yeah, I probably can work on that, actually, because that's not too much. It's just sort of adding a command. So I might do that tonight. Perhaps work on it and create a pull request for the history command, because that's going to be fairly simple. It's just the cycling through it using the arrow keys, which would be more ideal, right? Working like a shell. Yeah. Very cool, though. I like the project. Thanks for looking into it. Looking forward to seeing it in action. Yes. Okay. Yeah, very cool project. So thank you. Thank you for sharing it and working on it as well. Yes, that's it. I have to go now. So it's gonna be about it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.